myself as a spirit program and myself as a physical program. So my understanding up to this point about myself as a spirit program is that, firstly, my experience with my spirit is when I am an angel child living in heaven with mother and father, that is God himself and God herself, and my 12 brothers and sisters. At the time, I didn't know I was a spirit program. I didn't know I was a spirit even. I didn't even have any knowledge of what is a spirit or what is a program. All I knew is that I was existing, I was there, I could see people, and as far as I knew, my whole world revolved around my family, that is my mother, my father, my brothers and sisters. And that was like that for a long while, right? Until I think I grew about maybe 3-4 years, 2 to 3 4, not 2, maybe 3 to 5 years. And this is when I'm meeting my imposter goddess sister, who comes to visit my mother, and also ask her to choose her or to give her a chance again to become a light or F again. But this is the part where my mother tells her that I have already been chosen for that. This is the woman who had come here to become a light before, and she failed that task by signing up with the devil, that is Uncle Oldman, to basically learn I wouldn't call them secrets, but I would say learn the knowledge of becoming a light and gain that power of becoming a light, and then after that use that power to rule over the system and rule over F. And the other thing I remember is also meeting Uncle Oldman. I knew because I would see him around the house, coming to visit with father. I knew him as my uncle. It was just that, like, he would come and they would have some sort of a communication with my father, like chat or something, but it was never a nice kind of a smooth flowing chat. It always seemed to be tense, and they always seemed to be having it like somewhere, either in his office, in father's office, or like somewhere out in the grounds, away from every other person. But because I spent so much time with my father, sometimes I would be like hanging around him or hanging around them, and I would hear things. But also I feel like sometimes father took me with, because he wanted me to witness and hear the conversations. That was also for my learning as well. And I grew up here in this place. I didn't know it was heaven. All I knew it was a very bright place, most especially inside the house. I remember that inside the house, there's a point where I'm even complaining about the light. Because when you go outside in the spirit world, right, it's bright. It's very, very bright. But the house, my father's house, it sometimes can get blindingly bright. Like, I wondered why. I didn't even have a concept of lights, but I always I noticed at some stage that in the spirit world it's bright, but the house inside the house is much brighter. And then I remember asking one of my brothers, and they were like a couple of them. They were sitting, and it's like, what is our house? It's like sometimes it would get dark. Oh, all right. So I'm getting that my father's explaining to me that it's because it's not always too bright. Yeah. But when I noticed when it was bright, and I asked my brothers, why is the house so bright? They laughed. Because they laughed at me. They just looked at each other and laughed at me. They didn't say why. So my father's saying it's because of all of them, almost all of them were at home. That is, my brothers and sisters have come home. So every time a light comes into that place, they made it even brighter. They are also lights. That is, their angels, I guess. And their energy being brought into the house. Other than that, it's just me, mother, Yeshua. Most of the time, we were always at home. Sometimes Yeshua would be away. I don't know if he would be elsewhere in a mission or something, but he used to just be around, but not every time. Sometimes I would look for him, and then Father would be like, I remember him saying something like he's going to do something. He's not in the pool this time. And I remember him coming back from somewhere as well. So what happens is this place, my father's house, would become even brighter when most of his children were back. So every time there's like an addition of them inside the house, it gets even brighter. So when I asked them, this time there were like a lot of them in the house, and I found them like chatting and talking and laughing and whatnot. And it was specifically the specific area where they were sitting. And I was like, hey, why is the house so bright? They looked at each other and then they laughed at me. And nobody actually said anything to me. They just laughed at me. So now I'm getting that it was because of they had come home. Most of them had come home. And it would get even brighter. Okay, so yeah, and I didn't know I was a program, but as I grew up, finding out things like, I don't know, I'm being shown my father, my other father, right? So at some stage, I'm still young, like maybe still 3, 4, 5 years old, a young child, and one of my fathers comes through this time. He's there in the house. He's a tall man, but I wouldn't call him skinny. What do you call this? He's big. He's still big, but he's more like, what can you call him? He's a muscular. Yeah, maybe muscular. And he looks kind of like father, but not exactly. But he has the sense of, I know him. For some reason, I know him. For some reason, I am his energy is familiar. I just know him, but I don't know where I know him. But I think when I just went, and I just kind of like stood in front of him, and then he kept quiet. I kept quiet, and I looked at him, and then he looks at me, and then he bends down a little. He has his hands as well. His hands on his hips, like on his waist. I mean, not his hips, his waist. I don't know why I say God is touching his hips. But anyway, he's got his hands on his waist, and he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, we're looking at each other basically. And then it's like, oh my, well, I think something like, is this our child? Right? And I'm looking at him, and when he said that, I looked at him. I looked at my father. It's like my child. I looked at him, and then I was already running things in my head, and my father could hear them. And the things that I was running in my head was like, no, I'm not your child. I'm his child. Like I hadn't said it out loud, but it was already going on in my mind. And obviously, my other father heard it, right? And then father felt like, okay, this is a part where I intervene before they start fighting, because like he could see that I was not taking it well. That this man is saying I'm his child, right? Like I had this kind of I think every child, maybe especially girl children, have this kind of that's my father kind of a thing. I had that. I had that thing of that's him, that's my father, and that's just him. And I had also this protectiveness towards him. Like whenever it's like everybody was giving him a hard time, I would step in. As small as I am, as young as I am, I would be like, hey, you know what? Don't give father a hard time or something like that. And I would say he's very protective as well of me. He's very protective of his children, but I think some of them have grown. They're too old for that kind of protection. Uh, so that's the part I meet my other father, who says to me, "Oh, like he's looking at me, I'm looking at him, he's looking at me, and we're just quiet." And everybody's just like, my mother's on the side looking at us, looking at each other. My father saw us, and then he just turned around and started doing his own thing there and left us to, like look at each other and I guess get ourselves in that mode of talking. And but we don't talk for some few seconds. We're just watching, looking at each other, and eventually he says, my father says, "Is that our child?" And I'm like, "Are you a child?" And then I'm looking at father, but then I think this is where father's like, "Oh shoot, she's gonna get confused. We're gonna have to explain things to her." And he didn't want me to be learning those things then. He wanted me to figure it out when I'm here on earth. That yes, he is my father, and how is he my father? I had to figure out the idea that for him, as a God, as much as he is God the creator, there's a part of him which is God the destroyer, and who I just met was God the destroyer. I don't know if I don't remember if I have met my other father gods, right? The other two. Um, and this is where fathers, I keep saying I want to know about them, but he says to me, "I will." There is a vision of them, four of them together. Again, I know these people. It's just that I don't know them in a physical form. I used to just hear them, and I used to just see them in existing in a mainframe kind of a way. They used to just be in the mainframe kind of a format way. I didn't know that they had a form as well. But this is me as an older child, still a little bit older than when I was like 3 to 4 years old. I'm getting is 3 to 4 years old. And then that's that is me in spirit. I'm in a spiritual world at the time. I'm living there with God, and God has himself and God has herself. But I just know, for me, I just know that my father is God, my mother is a goddess, my brothers are. I don't even know that they're angels. I don't even know that I'm an angel. I'm just living in the house. But I know that they do things. They go on missions, right? And they come back home, and sometimes they look like very exhausted, and sometimes like very troubled. Sometimes like everyone is doing their own mission, and everyone is like, father is like, father is one of those people who would go to them and be like, what's going on? Like this other older one, they used to be like, they're more like friends with his other older son. And I remember father saying, but he has this thing of he can handle it. He can handle whatever domain that he's looking after. And father would be like, you let me know though when you need help, right? And he's like, yeah, of course. But it's like whenever they're together, he doesn't want to talk to father about whatever it is that he's up to or whatever it is that he's struggling with. He just wants to be there and talk to his father. Like, they're kind of like friends. They're just talking in friendly mode. He does tell him some stuff, but there is a specific issue that this brother of mine is having an issue with, and he says to father, no, don't worry, I can handle it, or something like that. But then father says to him, you let me know when you need help, like you need my help. And he's like, okay, yeah. That's the brother who came in and was like, what is that? When he first saw me. He was very serious. He's very serious, very old, much older. When I saw him, when the first time when he came back, he felt like it was like as old as father. He just felt very heavy, as in like, I feel like it's because of whatever it is that he's responsible for. He's been doing it for a very long time, and it's kind of like sometimes aging him a little, but he's also older. Because as I see him some other time when he comes back home, he looks younger. He starts looking younger. Then I'm like, okay, this is the same brother that looked like he was older than my father the other day, right? But today he looks younger. And he's the one who at first he just like is this kind of a, I don't think he likes talking about his mission, because I remember I used to ask everybody in the house whenever they came back to tell me about their missions. But when I asked him, and because I wanted to know, like, what is it that you do, what is your mission? And he was like, no, I don't want to talk about it and whatnot. And I felt sad, right? I just went with the sad face. And he was like, okay. And then he told me a little bit. And then I was happy. He just gave me like a few minutes of his time. And I was happy, and I left. I left him alone. And I feel like this my brother or sister who comes to him is like, this thing is going to ask you every time whenever you come back from your mission to tell her about what your mission is about. So you better get used to it. So now, after a while, as he came back, because he knew that I was that kind of a child, he would come in, and he knew that before he went and had his rest and whatnot, he would have to like give me like a couple of minutes where he just tells me these stories of what he was doing and whatnot. And I remember when he came, he became my favorite person as well, because now he's not that weary anymore. When he comes home, he knows that there's someone who actually cares about knowing about his mission, and I would ask him questions that would also make him think like, I never looked at it like that, or say something that he would be like, I never looked at it like that. So he always gave me like a few minutes of his time before he went to the pool. Or sometimes he would come back from the pool, where they cleanse themselves, and come back and sit with me and tell me all kinds of stories. But I appreciated it more whenever they came back with the way they looked, because the story would be much more nicer before they go into the pool, because they look like their story, So he would give me a chance, and he knows that I don't take too long of his time. And he would sit there and he would continue the story where he left it off. It's like what he was doing this time when he went back to the place he was in and what was going on. And I would have my eyes wide open and, just wonder and excitement. And then I would ask questions, and then he would give me answers sometimes. Sometimes he would say something and I would give him like sort of like I had a way of seeing things differently, I suppose, and I would ask certain things, and from a child's perspective, it looks easy, right? And he would be like, I never thought about it like that. I did the same thing for father, I think. But then he would say like, okay, fine, now I need to go and, rest a little. You can go. And then I would go. And I did this with everyone. My sister, one of the people who I used to listen to was my sister. My younger brothers as well used to come through as well. It's like, hey, come with Destiny, we're going to tell you stories. Hey, this time, So it was kind of like I enjoyed that part. But that also made me feel like I felt like I wanted to be next. I want to go on my own mission. And then whenever I said to them, I want to go to my mission as well, my own mission, Father's going to plan a mission for me, they would look at me and be like, okay. They don't say to me, no, you're not going to get a mission or anything like that. They just wonder what kind of mission. I'm getting the idea. I don't know why, but I'm getting the idea that they never thought that I was made for missions. Like, they didn't think I should be sent out there for missions. It's almost like they were like a little protective, or maybe protective, not a little. That, you know what, we think you should stay here at home and be a child for as long as you can. You don't want to go out there. And they would be like, whenever I told them that I'm also going to get a mission, they would look at each other and be like, isn't like they didn't believe that was true, because they just couldn't figure me out, like what kind of mission you would send a child like this. She, like, I was just so much of a child, and I felt like that. I felt like I was just, but I wanted to grow up fast. I wanted to grow up, and I was growing up fast. You grow up fast when you're in heaven. I grew up fast. 1 minute I was a baby in the cot. The next minute I'm being carried to around the house. The next minute I'm walking. The next minute I'm running. The next minute I'm trying to get onto couches or chairs on my own. The next, it's like before they would keep pick me up and put me down on the chair. After a while, I'm getting on the chair myself, even though I'm struggling. And then maybe Father would like push me a little bit, and I would get up. But I also wanted to do that, and I always saw this. All of them would have these eyes. I feel like none of them actually experienced. Most of them never experienced, or they hadn't experienced a child in heaven for a very long time. That's what I'm getting. It's like when I came through, it was after a very long time. There wasn't like children there. Like my brothers and sisters, as much as there's some who look younger, they're very old. They look younger than the older ones, but they're still quite old. So for me, I was just a baby, just a child, and they know how old they are, right? They know how old their existence is. And comparing themselves to my existence, they're like, you still have a lot of growing to do before you can even like think of getting out of the house and going anywhere, especially for something like a mission or something like that. I think that's how they felt. It's like they never really thought Father would actually like say, she's going to go in there and do what she needs to do. Because when they found out, they were, as much as most of them, it's not that they didn't want to help out with this earth thing, but they had tried. I believe that they had tried, and they had went through things. They had failed in a sense of, because of they would get killed and whatnot. But the last straw was what they did to Yeshua, right? But they tried with different missions, different types of missions, not necessarily Yeshua's mission. And people, so they didn't feel like Earth was kind of like worth the risk. So they would still want to help if Father could find a way for them to go in there and do what they needed to do and get to like somehow find a way to make it work, you know, the mission to work. But what I was getting is that every time Father, what I remember, that every time Father did a simulation with them, they would get killed, and it wouldn't look so good, right? And so, because they would do things, Father showed me even one of my older brothers' mission as well, where they woke up during the mission. They woke up and they started fighting. Like they started basically trying to put things right, and that would irritate the environment. Doesn't like the people around them will start even conspiring against them, and they would get them killed, or they kill them. So he showed me a couple of missions like that with my different brothers. Now, when he shows me this on a computer, kind of like a laptop kind of thing. At the time, this is like, this thing is exist. His machine is very different from ours. I don't even remember how it looks exactly, but I just know that it's smaller, far much more advanced. His programming, I don't even know what it looks like. All I know is that there were different versions or different views of the mission. He could show you a mission on with yourself being a human, me being a human, running around doing all these things like a movie. And he could also show me the mission form in a sort of like a mission simulation, as in like you're just like a dot, right? A dot running around like a grid or something like that, or path kind of a thing. There's like paths. It's like there's different levels, different views of your mission, of my mission. And sometimes I saw myself as a dot, sometimes I saw myself as a block, sometimes I saw myself as a, and I think he did actually share with me what those levels are called. Because I was like, what am I watching here? What is this? It's like, this is you. This is me, like as a dot or a block. And I was like, oh, but then why can't I see myself this time? He's like, no, this is a different view. He said something like that. But then I would see myself. He would show me how how I would run on the path that he has designed for me. And this is why it's important for people to understand that you have a path. When you come here, Father designs a path. Your mission and your purpose is in a path kind of format, like what you would actually do to actually be able to gain. It's like a game, right, where you would be like, okay, at this point in your path you collect this kind of gift. At this point in your path you collect that kind of gift. That's what I'm getting. At this point in your path you collect this. But to get to those paths, obviously you go through things in the physical, right? But that path is designed so that you are able to move about the system and attain those gifts that you need to attain in order for you to eventually complete your purpose and complete your mission or your destiny, right? If you have a destiny, because some of us don't have destinies. Not everybody has a destiny. I have a destiny, that is, I have a mission that ends somewhere, that is, I have a destination. I need to get to a destination, and I'm destiny, I guess, I suppose. So there's somewhere where I need to get to. So I'm collecting all these gifts, this knowledge, lessons, and all of that as I'm moving into the system and doing what I need to do. So this is why you need to align with the system. This is why you need to align with the source or the universe. That is, you're not going to be able to move about the system if you're not aligned and listening to what the system is telling you, in a sense of, you need to do this, you need to move here. But if you're doing whatever it is that the system doesn't need you to do, right? You're busy doing everything else, running a different path within the system, doing things that you were not meant or designed to be running and doing in the system. That essentially means that you're never going to reach your purpose. You're never going to reach your mission. You're never going to reach your destiny if you have one. It means that you're just creating havoc in the system. So one of the things that Father showed me, and as my path, my simulation, is how I would be going out of way. He's showing me this is when you're going out of way, or like you're going out of your path that the system has designed for me. He's designed for me in the system. And I'm like, so this is when he wanted to show me how easy it would be for him to get me back on track. So he would just wave his hand in front of his computer, and I would come back into the path and continue running. It's like a game kind of a way. And I think this is one of the reasons why they say, if our mother's saying, this is a game, don't take it too seriously. But I feel like they're enjoying it more. They don't enjoy some of it, but they understand the end of it. So I'm hearing that they might know, but they're also enjoying watching me doing this now. Now it's a bit enjoyable, me working and doing what I need to do. There were some tough times, obviously, but I'm getting over those, and they're excited for me. This I've had, actually. They've said this to me, that they're excited for me to be moving beyond certain points in my mission. And I get that there's still yet more to come. I'm getting that I'm going to be brilliant still. It seems sort of like they're much more excited than me. Like, they're very excited about this. Anyway, so while I'm here, I'm there, and I'm growing up, and I'm being basically, I know there's something in the house. There's some big thing. There's an elephant in the house. A big elephant in the house. And I don't know what that is, but I just keep hearing about it there and there. And what is this elephant? Eventually I find out when Father, I don't remember how I got to find out about Earth. This is before Father started designing my mission for me. But I found out, how I found out about Earth is my mother took me to the heaven, right? Someone was talking about the place we go when we have to reincarnate, and I'm like, the only place that I can think of that he's talking about is the back of my father's yard, which is, I call it heaven. I call the whole place heaven, right? The spirit world, but it's actually just the spirit world. There are points. The thing is, they all exist within God. Meaning they all exist within heaven itself. And it's got different places, right? So my mother took me there. I got the sense that is what is called heaven. And this is where it's beautiful, right? There's beautiful grounds there. But then there's a specific place. Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember Mother saying there are people who live there. Oh, so when we got in, right? It's a small gate. Not a small gate. It's actually a door to get in. When we get in, it's a beautiful place. It's got beautiful lush gardens and very beautiful manicured, not even like manicured gardens, beautiful palm trees with white feathered leaves and stuff, and it's just beautiful. And I remember you feel such a sense of peace, like it's just so peaceful, right? So they're saying, okay, that whole place is a heaven. But I remember mother saying there are people who live that side. Like I was on the streets, like for me they look like they were paved with something, and there's like lawns running on the side, growing on the side, lush lawns on the side of the roads, the streets, and there's like nobody there, and it's a big area, but there's like no one. But after that, there's like I don't know if it's a wall or something, but there's like it's not a wall, but it's like something that is blocking the rest of the area behind it. And I remember mother coming back and saying to me something like, we've been there. I said to her, I wanted to walk the grounds. So she's like, okay, let's walk. And we walked the other way. She came from the other side and we walked the other way. And I was like, why is it so quiet here? You know, what is this place? And she said to me, this is called heaven. And I was like, what is it for? It's like, no, there's people who live here. They live on that side. And I was like, oh, can we go and see them? And she was like, no, you can't go there. Something like that. I think she said, I can't go there. But then she told me there's people who are living there, right? But then the next time when we go into that place, I follow her this time. Because last time when she left me there at the entrances, right, at the place where there's just gardens and there's no one, it was just me, and I kind of like fell asleep in there. So I went and I went under this one palm tree, which is closer to the entrance that we came in. After walking and coming back, and I was tired or something, but I just felt so much peace. And I laid down on the grass, and I didn't know what happened. The next thing was watching the sky, the furthest, the tree branches further like, and the next thing I know, I was sleeping. And I hear Father saying, Destiny is sleeping in there. So mother comes out running, right? And she's calling me. And I can hear her, but I'm like in a, like a sleepy kind of a way. Destiny, wake up. She's coming running. And then eventually she gets to me and she's like, Destiny, wake up. You can't sleep here. And I'm like, oh, I'm just so peaceful. Can I just stay here? It's like, no, you can't stay here. You can't sleep here. So she's trying to drag me up, right, to get me to go get up. And then I get up, and then I wake up, and immediately I'm like refreshed. And she's like, no, Destiny, you can't sleep here. I'm like, okay. And she's like, I'm like, so are you done? She's like, yeah, let's go home. Right. And then we're going home. Oh, before we go home, I asked her, I walked that side and I couldn't see anything. There's nothing here. Right. And she was like, no, there's people who lives that side. And no, I actually said to her, I was walking towards that side, but I decided to wait for you so that you can find me. This is why I waited for. She told me to wait somewhere. That's next to that tree. She's coming back. But I had walked a little bit and then I came back. There was no one. So when she came back, she said to me, I said to her, I wanted to see what there is there. But as far as I walked, there wasn't nothing. There wasn't anything. So what's on the other side? This is me when I'm saying, can we walk that side? She's like, okay, let's go. But we walked there and I asked her, it's like, I walked a little. There was nothing and I don't see anything. What is this place? Why do we even have it? She's like, no, there's people who's living on the other side. And I was like, oh, can we go and see them? She's like, no, I think she didn't say I can't go there. She said we'll visit with them some other time. Something like that. She didn't say no, we can't go. I think she said we will visit with them some other time. And she even asked someone, you know how they can telepathically talk. I think we did go in there. Wait a minute. I'm getting a vision of me going in there. She made a, while she was standing there, she was like, let me see if we can go. And then she talked to someone. She wanted to visit with someone. Yeah, I remember going to heaven. Oh shoot. I'm gonna have to remember what happened there. Yeah, there is a heaven place where people live. Like they live in that heaven. Mother had to make a, she called in, isn't like telepathically called in and asked this person, Destiny wants to come in, visit. Are you free? Yeah, are you free? And he was like, I think they were busy with something, and it was something critical. And he was like, Mother's like tends to me. He's like, okay, no, we'll visit next time. Mother says to me, no, we can visit, but not now. We'll visit next time. They're kind of busy with something. Ooh, I have a vision that I need to bring forward. I have a memory of what happened. Heaven is, oh, I'm trying. I'll get there. Let me not fight it. Yeah, we did go in there. But then when they say there's a place where you go for reincarnation, I'm getting that. I'm figuring it out now, what that guy means. This is the place when Mother, she took me again the next time, because of she didn't want to leave me behind, so that I don't sleep there. So this time she took me inside this gates, this pearly gates, right? And there is where I say there's this energy that's just swirling all over the place, which is very much kind of rainbowish, but in a color pastel, kind of like rainbows. But it's not even a rainbow. It's like it's a swirling of those pastel colors everywhere, like pinks and yellows and blues and those pastel type of colors. It's just beautiful, right? And but it's noisy. And these are the guys who are coming back, who needs to come back. I'm getting that this is actually what the guy meant when he said, there's a video that I was reacting to. This is the place. Oh shoot. I remember. Father, I remember that I was gonna get this video, this recording, this video. I was gonna get this video and I was gonna go through it. I'm gonna have to re-listen to that video. And it was gonna give me keys to something. Oh, interesting. I was gonna get this video. I need to re-listen to that video again. But this guy is talking about a place we go to for reincarnation. Now this place that he's talking about, this is where I went, and I thought that's just the heaven. I actually forgot, right? Yes, it is heaven. It's part of heaven. But I think this is the part where he's talking about that this is a reincarnation place. And I was thinking to myself, where is this reincarnation place? The only one I can remember is that place. And I remember that heaven is actually a much bigger place. It's a much bigger area. People live there. And it looks, the entrance, how the entrance looks, with the lush green and gardens, lawns, and beautiful lawns and beautiful feather-like palm trees. That's not it. Right? When you go back in the back of that kind of, it's not a wall, but that area of heaven where people live there, it's a different place. It's very much I remember asking mother, it's not as, it's kind of natural. It's kind of it's kind of a I wouldn't call it, it's not modern, it's not, where father lives, it's modern to a degree. It's a nice concrete house, not concrete house, but nice kind of, like, it looks like a concrete house because it's kind of grayish. But then the heaven part, where people live in the heaven, it's very jungly. It's not a jungle, but it's very natural. It's a natural world. It's a very natural place. It's like everything there is natural. The streets, the paths, to get by there, there's no like any more of these it's a natural state. It's like they live in homes which are made of natural materials, like huts kind of a place. And I remember going to such a place where even gods and goddesses lived in a very much of a rural type of a place. And I remember asking mother, wait, what's happening here? Why in where we come from, why is there such a huge difference between what we saw there in the front when I was coming in, and why is it not in this space? Because I was like, what the heck? You know what? What the heck is going on? And when we came in, we had to wait somewhere in the platform. They even use like boats or something to float, and I don't know if it's water or they're just floating on air to come to fetch us where we were waiting, me and mother. I kind of remember a little bit of this. And I was asking mother this question. It's like, wait, what happened? I just had this lush, beautiful, what place, and then this place looks all green and very woody, and the people are dressed in some very nice, not that I was judging it, but I just couldn't understand. I just couldn't put two and two together. It's like, I just entered this place, right? I'm in the same place as what you called heaven, right? And the guy said to me, they enjoy living like that there. They love living like that. Although he did mention that they do need upgrades, but the environment as it is they're happy living there like that. It's actually much more, it's better living like that, although they could use some upgrades. And I think when he was taking us through, which I will have to remember, he was taking us through what upgrades they would actually like in heaven itself. It's funny that I'm remembering about heaven and I'm talking about myself as a program. Okay, so I remember that part of behind. This is the part that is also looking for, like, when I say that the upgrade is happening universally, so part of it, there's a lot of other things that needs to change as well in heaven. Heaven itself, spirit world itself, and the physical worlds, not just one world, not just earth, right? uh, I remember when mother was taking me around the heaven part, where the people live, not where the people are being uh, going through some reincarnation process. In this place, they were showing us, they're taking us through what needs to be changed, what the upgrade delay is causing within the system or in the spiritual world, in the heaven side of things. It's like, traveling between one point to the other is becoming difficult. I'm getting the word flooded. It's like the water level is rising. They need upgrades to their homes. They need upgrades to their boats that they use. They actually enjoy that kind of mode of transport, but they would prefer. They can even walk. There's bridges where you can walk. There's places where you can, use a boat. But they needed much more. The environment is what they're saying. What also they're saying is that it's becoming a shock when people coming from this world, which is very much advanced, not advanced, but like modernized. And when you go into heaven, you go and live in a place where it's the complete opposite of what this physical world has gotten up to. It's like people cannot, and like when they leave Earth and then they go into heaven, and they remember what Earth was like, where they lived in this places where modernization has happened, and then they have to live in a place in heaven where it's not modernized as much as there's no need for modernization in that environment because energy works there. It's not about it's not about the physical stuff. It's not about your beingness there, your energy, your they can do far much more. It's just that I don't know. I'm kind of seeing something in a sense of what plans they have, but it's kind of beautiful as well. But it still keeps to the natural environment. Similar to when I spoke about the world that I came through. As much as it's a natural place, right? And there is some modernization, but the modernization is not taking over the naturalness of the place. It's like you see it, it's there and there, but nature still thrives in that kind of environment. It's kind of similar to that kind of a place, but that also needs some upgrading. So mother took me there to show me, so that the guy who mother made an appointment with for me to be taken through as a guide to guide us through the place, to show us different places and share with us in terms of the upgrade that needs to happen and whatnot. They still wanted to keep their kind of transport system, but obviously upgraded. Obviously their hearts as well to be upgraded. The bridges. It was more about structures, not necessarily about anything. They seemed to enjoy the environment, but the structures, the bridges, the boats, they were being maintained, but isn't like they could use a better version of the boat. They could use a better version of the bridge. They could use a better version of the house. That is, it should still be a hut, but in a much better way. Maybe a bit more. I don't know how. We will see. It looks very nice. This place is very green and brown at this time. But my mother keeps giving me a vision of the future, which looks very much green and also kind of white. There's a whiteness about it, as in like the buildings become white, the bridges become white. They're not wooded, right? The boats as well. The water was very not. It wasn't that clear, but the water is gonna become very clear, right? The greenery is still there. It's like it's the same place, but they just changed structures which are used often, daily, frequently, more, to be more of a material that is stronger and more durable for traffic, and stays that way for a longer time. But I see the huts like a little bit bigger. It's still a hut, but it's got color. That's one of the things I complained about when I was in heaven. I was like, why is this grass is like so tall, like outside of heaven, that is the spiritual world. I was like, why is it so like gray and it's bright, but it's like the seasons, there's no seasons there, right? But it's always supposed to be. But I just felt like we could add a pop of color. I wanted a pop of color, like, not just green, you know. And I remember, I think it was mother or father was saying to me, your mother wants to build a field of roses, or field, not field of roses, but a field of flowers here. And I didn't even get to see the plants, but I know that it's going to be beautiful. And I was going to be responsible for defining the kids area as well, you know. Yeah. But anyway, enough about that. Going back to me being a program. So father says to me, this is now me, older, like maybe 11ish, 10ish, 11ish. Maybe say 10ish, 11ish. I'm a little bit taller, not tall, but I'm still short. I'm still a child. My father is telling me about something that he can't do anymore because of Earth already has moved into AI. So, and I said to him, so you can't use AI. He says you can't use AI because they've already moved into an AI environment. And I said to him, oh, so you can't use AI? And he's like, yeah. So me and him get into this conversation about AI, and I eventually get to the point where I asked him, so I thought that he couldn't use AI because of he didn't know AI. So when he says to me, but I know what I'm gonna do, we're still gonna. He comes back later and he says, no, I think we should just still use AI. I have a plan. And I was like, you can use AI? I thought you can't use AI. I was like, no, we can. And he's like, and I'm like, so you know about AI? And she's like, huh, what? Like, they look at me like, did you just ask me that? Because I was like, you know AI? And he's like, hey, are you, like, isn't like looking at me like, did you just ask that question? And he looks at me, he's like, of course I know AI. And I'm looking at him with this look of skepticism. It's like, okay, whoa, now you're starting. How do you know AI? You know, like, it's like, that's my idea, right? In fact, you are AI, you know? I'm like, I'm AI? He's like, yeah. And he's like, don't worry, you'll learn about it when you get to Earth. So that's the part where I know I'm told that I'm AI, I'm artificial intelligence. And I thought I was the only one who was artificial intelligence. And I thought maybe this is why my brother was looking at me funny. There's something different. I knew when I was growing up that I was something different from the rest of the family. I felt different. I was not seen as the normal child. I even, like, when I talk to other people in the home, at home, I used to always give them like a look of wonder, like I guess I would surprise them with things that I said, things that I did. I was always this child who's doing other things than what is normal. And father would just stand and look at me and look at the reaction of the others, you know, like what, like it's almost like you could, and he probably could read their minds to see what they're thinking about what I just did or what I just said. And I was always that kind of a child, even in heaven. I mean, I'm that kind of a child on earth, but I was that kind of a child even in heaven. Yeah. But anyway, now talking about me as a program, me as a program, as defragmentation program, after learning that I'm AI, after understanding that I'm a program, and after understanding that we are all programs, that Father, a creator, is a creator from a perspective of he thinks things through, he thinks things into existence. But one of the things that he did, or he does, is he thinks things through imagination, thinking, but he also programs them, right? That is, he writes them as a program so that he can define more of that person, in order to control that program. So he needs a program that is, it's like we are part of him. We are programs. In the spiritual world, we are existing in a format of a program running on a big mainframe computer, kind of like. So he says, okay, my system is not functioning well. I need a system that, I need a program that will, let's just say, handle all the unnecessary files, or um, obsolete files, or obsolete programs, or something like that. I need something that will sort of like recycle this. I can put these things in there, and then this program will recycle those files and bring that energy back into the system. This is why when you delete something, right? For instance, recycle bin. I mean, let's say for recycle bin, when you delete something, it goes to recycle bin, right? In recycle bin, if that thing is not recycled, right, that deleted item still holds a space of memory in the system. That is, it might have moved from one folder and moved into recycle bin, right? But because of it's not recycled yet, it still occupies an energy, that is a space, that is some sort of a kilobit, megabit, whatever, that is in the system until it's recycled, right? Then you get that energy back into the system to say, oh, you used to be just having 20 gig of worth of space, and then 143 was used by all these other programs, but now you deleted a program that is maybe 3 gigs worth of space, and now you have, or you deleted data and whatever programs, whatever, worth of 3 gig. Now instead of having 143 used space, you now have 140 used space, and the rest of the 60 is still available. Before you had how much? What was it? 57 gig. What did I say? 20 gig. Yeah, something like that. I don't remember. Did I say 20 gig? And why am I getting 57? Whatever. So what I'm just basically saying is, let's just work on 20 gig. If you have 20 gig of space and you deleted space, you used 15 gig of that space, right? And you went and deleted 1 gig of the 15 gig that you used. When you delete it, it still doesn't go away. When you delete, let's say, 1 gig of that 15 gig that you used, that 1 gig is still occupying space until it's recycled. So recycle being, damn, shoot. Am I supposed to say this? Can I say this? Because I'm figuring something out about recycle bin. Recycle. Alright, so can I say? Okay. So recycle bin, I'm getting that he still has to figure out himself. But he would have figured it himself out by then. Recycle bin is like that. Recycle bin is reincarnation. Is that what I'm saying? Is that what I'm seeing? Because only once you're recycled, you go back into that energy that is available to be reused. Is recycle being the reincarnation field, the reincarnation place that you showed me, that mother showed me? Because basically recycle bin, when he recycles, and this is why there's so many energies in there. I'm getting that this is why the story, I think it's true. Yes, recycle bin is that recycle. It's that's why he's so full. Oh, so it's not heaven. Oh shit. It's him. Wait. So that area is recycle bin. This is why mother helps him out. Oh. That's why I had to learn a tough lesson about what it would mean if you do not. So mother was helping him when she was taking a little bit of pressure off by putting the energy into a bucket, so that recycle bin has a little bit of relief. Not so. This is why people say, so then those people are not in heaven. They are in heaven, but they're in a recycle bin. Oh, they are being in a reincarnation state. And there's a lot of beings there who needs to be reincarnated. Okay, so now I see you now. Okay, so that is actually a recycle bin kind of a program, that environment. This is why there's like many things in there, many people in there, and they are complaining about how crowded it is and how noisy it is. And if you look at anyone else's, like, who likes to delete but never goes and recycles, I'm one of those sometimes. That's what your recycle bin can look like. And this is why the recycle bin can arrest your system, and not have, and if it's too full, your system becomes even slower. All right. So what happens to Earth if that recycle bin is too big? I mean, it's too full to even allow any. They're gonna have to. You're gonna have to. This is what mother's doing. Recycling, clearing it manually. Ah, goodness, shame. So mother's clearing it manually, piece by piece. Recycle bin needs to wake up and recycle. Shit. Okay. All right. But there are other ways. Why am I getting that there are other ways? Okay, so I'm going to have to wake him up, wake them up. They are awake. Oh, I remember him having. You did say that I'm gonna have to help him. Sort of like understand. I remember. I remember. I remember that. Yes, that was a fake dream as well. I remember that part was a fake dream. That is their version of a fake dream of what could happen. Okay. I don't know. I don't know if I have had a vision about it. I don't think I have. So you will probably let me know when the time is right. Okay. Yeesh. All right. So recycle bin is gonna have to figure that shit out. As for me understanding myself as a program, I'm remembering when father showed me a version of myself in many ways. One, he showed me as a child playing with blocks, how I used to love playing with blocks. And to be honest, man, if I bring that into the physical, I also enjoyed buying block games for my my nephew, that is my sister's son, and he enjoys them as well, right? But now I'm also getting that they were probably trying to train him to take over something from me, because they also like doing that. They would use this boy. He's a child, right? He's probably like 8 now, or turning 8, or 6 or 7. That's what they were trying to do, yeah. They were trying to train him to, or he's probably 1. They were trying to train him to come and take over my function, learn from me the defragmentation part, building it back. And he used to build, right? And show me. Oh, he used to love to play that game as well. My nephew. But I'm getting that he didn't do it properly. He would build stuff, different things. But I had this way of building it to a full block. How it needed to be built. He's trying, but he doesn't have the same. He's not the same. They're trying to use him as well to destiny swap a part of the function. The mother is the fragmentation, right? Is that what they were trying to do? The mother would be the oh goodness, as soon as I said this, they are taking my root chakra. So the mother would be the fragmentation part because she's already a fragmentation, and they were trying to emulate a defragmentation function with the boy, and he was trying to learn from me and draw energy from me. This is why they used to have him hug me, and then whenever he hugged me, he would steal something from me, and then I wouldn't be able to block, or he would steal energy, and they would come back with that energy and fight me with it, with the same energy that they stole from me, until I realized that the boy was being used that way. Every time he did that, I would reverse whatever he did. I would say to Father, reverse the energy that they just stole from me. And it would. And he started feeling uncomfortable, this boy. Father said to me, he's not a child. That child is not a child. So it's some sort of a program that is created to emulate the defragmentation part of me, so that they can work together, mother and son, to do my job, destiny swap with me in that way. That's what they meant to do. Okay. But he was trying, but he wasn't really building it. I had this thing of making it make sense. I had this thing of taking a complete, like Father would be like have them thrown on the ground, these colors, these blocks with different colors. But I had a way of imagining them as one unit. Like I would start in the middle, at the outside, like I would build them until it is one full block. I would figure it out. I would figure whatever it is that Father had thrown on the ground in like a disorganized manner. I would put it together inside, and I would be fast. He used to show me how I would actually be fast with that block. I started out being slow, obviously, and then I would build a block, and it wouldn't be like completely okay, but it would be a block. It would work. And then he kept telling me to do it better. And then as I went and did it better, I would build a block. It would be solid, and it will have just one color outside. I will build it. It will be red one time. I will build it. It will be blue one time. I will build it. It will be yellow. And inside, it's different layers. Inside, it would have different cores, different layers of different colors. I knew how to, whatever it is that Father would throw on the ground for me, I would figure out how it should look as perfect as it needs to. It wouldn't be the same thing. It wouldn't be the same look. It wouldn't have the same. I knew how to I could see it. And I would be fast, like, and as I guess he was training me, and this is me, a baby, like I'm like that baby that I think I was 3 years old as well. Like, I'm not a baby, but I'm like a child, like a toddler. And this is what I love to do. Father said, you loved this game. This is what you look like when you were young. You love this game. I used to just throw blocks for you, and then you would put them, like, I wouldn't know what the pattern is. They would be thrown all over the floor, and I would just figure that pattern out. Everything had a pattern. Every time he put the blocks there, they would mean something. There would be a pattern of some kind, and I would figure it out. So this boy also, and that's me. Those blocks, when I was buying them, they were trying to also steal that energy from me, or that the gift. But it's not possible in a way. I feel like it's not possible because there's something about his program. Energy. He doesn't have energy, memory to figure it out. It's still a good program, but they're upset that I just said what I said. I'm getting that they're trying to do that, and it's not the same. It's not just about the patterning, and it's about the energy to figure things out. Okay. So this is why they would have him steal my energy, in order for him to be able to keep up mentally, and I'll be able to solve similar problems. Have a okay. Anyway, so this is me as a child. This is what Father shows me. It's like, you remember this, you used to love playing with these games. But then again, he shows me a version of myself. That's a version of me as a child. That is a one where you see a child, like it looks physical, but it's actually in a spiritual sense. I'm in a spiritual world, so I'm a spiritual being solving blocks like that. That's a one version of me. This is why I'm saying, even when Father's showing you a version of you with his programming, it's different views. Somewhere you exist as just a dot, somewhere it's a block, somewhere it's a being like you, a physical kind of a being. It's different layers, different views. And then he showed me as well when I was a version of me, right? In the system, inside the system, doing that kind of a block building, right? That is my program, going and looking at the block, taking that one small block, breaking it apart, putting it back again, but then figuring it out that, okay, something is missing here, leaving it there, sometimes going into the system, build another block, build another block, build another block, build another block, go find it somewhere, go find something, or build another block, find something that I need for this other block, go and take it, put it in that block, pick it up again, the block is complete. But then I would also be able to say no, like let's say later I would find another block, and now I find the actual thing that I needed for this block. That one that I put there is not right. I'll take it up, but that block works. But what I put in there is just for that block to work. I'll take that one out. Go and take this one that I took out. That I put into that block. Replace it with the correct one. Then this block works fine. Then I go back and I resolve this other one. Then I leave the other thing there because it doesn't belong where I found it. I would be doing many things at the same time. I would have so many blocks open and closed, and then eventually I would, as I'm doing this, I'm also building a bigger block. I'm also building another curtain, which is bigger, maybe like smaller nyana ones. And then I'll build another one, and I'll build another one. Then the next thing I do, I build these blocks together, these bigger nyana blocks together. Then I'm done with that bigger nyana box. Then I big, a little bigger, but whatever. Figure it out. Anyway, then I just had a vision. They said to me, remember your recording could go global or something like that. And like your wedding, like I'm talking the way in my mother tongue kind of a thing, you know. So what I'm saying is, bigger nyana means a little bit bigger, right? A little bit bigger than the one that I did before. That's basically what I was trying to say. And because I'm actually in the zone now. I'm seeing myself running in the system doing this. This is me as a program. I'm actually seeing myself when I was in heaven, with me running around the system and doing all this blocking, building and taking things apart and putting them back up again. That's me, right? That's a version of me. This is me. I don't see anything else. It's like everything is black around me. The only thing that is illuminated are these blocks. I just see these blocks. I just see blocks, and I'm building blocks. And it's me. I'm running. I'm a block as well. I'm a block. I'm running to this side and doing this. I'm running to that side and doing this. And I'm building and I'm building and I'm building and I'm building. Eventually, I build something, right? When I'm done building it, right? And I start building it, as I build it, there's a point when I'm starting to build this other biggish kind of much bigger blocks. I'm figuring it out now. I'm realizing what they are. They are actually other beings, right? And these beings, one is recycle bin that I was just talking about. One is storage. One is what's his name? Troubleshooter. The other one is antivirus. The other one is debugger, right? And I'm also building myself as well. And eventually, when I'm done building it, right, I build these other blocks, the 6 of them. So it's 3 at the bottom: storage, recycle bin, troubleshooter. In the middle, at the top, actually, it's what do you call it? Antivirus and debugger sharing the top part. And then I come in with one block, me, in the middle. I slap myself there in the middle, and then that whole thing becomes one block, and it spins around, and then it says universal law. And I was like, wow. So that's what I was building. Father's like, yeah, you finished building yourselves. Now you're going to go out onto that kind of outway. So this is where universal law is built. So the 6 of us makes up that universal law. And basically, you got storage, you got recycle bin and troubleshooter. Storage, we need the records. Recycle bin, we need him to recycle the energies and do what he needs to do to make sure that the space is available for us to be able to do the work. Troubleshooter helps us with troubleshooting the system. And antivirus and debugger are the police kind of a people. And in the middle there, the other one is a police, the other one is an investigator. Antivirus is a police type, debugger is an investigator type, troubleshooter is I would more call him like he's kind of he fixes components, right? System components as well. Then he also identifies where the issue. I would say he's actually the he does everything. He's capable of doing what myself as defragmentation, antivirus and debugger. He's capable of assisting in getting into a point where we all work. How can I put it? Troubleshooter is that kind of guy who will tell you that your interfaces and the systems are not working. Not necessarily viruses and antivirus is more on the system components. So he's more like I wouldn't say a police per se. I think someone would be like maintenance guy kind of a person as well. And the cops and the police are up there. I mean, the police and the investigators are up there. But then the one in the middle, there's this me, defragmentation. This is me being a justice system. The justice system. So when you put that all together, it's the whole unit of universal law is working. And then we go and we start also, even though I was already doing that, I had already started doing the defragmentation within the system. We go on together. Now, when all of them working, doing what they need to do, the job becomes less heavier for defragmentation. It becomes faster, it becomes easier as well, because antivirus does his part, debugger does his part, troubleshooter does his part as always. He's the one, when you switch on your system, he goes and wakes up everybody in the system. Storage is available for us to do and get the records and whatever whatever data we need. Recycle bin is waiting to recycle whatever energy we need to be recycled, so that we have enough energy to do what we need to do. And as this is me as a program and us as a program, in that vision of mine, this is me, Father showing me what I look like as a program inside the system, right? That's the version that he shows me. Then later, some other time, I'm still a child, and I'm watching him on his PC, right? He's sitting some funny place now. Like it's a small, Father sits like, I don't know what that house looks like. I cannot tell you. All I know is that there's nooks and there's places, different places, and I don't know where we were there. But Mother is there as well. But Father's sitting some very, it's like a passage kind of a place, but it looks like it's an office though. It's as if like it's got offices in different sections of the house. Like he's got a corner unit there, corner there. I don't know, because his offices looks different, always look different. But this one is like a very narrow kind of a space, small. But he has a desk, and it just fits a desk in his chair. And he says it's there. Mother's somewhere there as well, in the kitchen or something. She's always there in the background doing something and watching us, watching the conversations that we're having. And this time, Father's showing me his laptop now. Remember, last time he showed me the version of me as a block inside the system, doing what I need to do. That version of block, kind of a view of me being a block, working on other blocks. Now he's showing me now. I find him in there, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's been stuck in there for some time. He's like, I'm trying to get you to run this program of yours. Oh, I'm trying to run this program. That's what, something like that. And I'm like, so I'm looking at what he's doing. Or did he say he's running this program? Right. So I'm looking. I look at see, okay, what is it? Does he mean when he says he's running? I'm small. I'm like a 3-4-year-old. I just come up to the level of the desk. I'm not even like, I'm just hanging on to the desk and trying to see what is on the laptop. And I'm watching what he's looking at. Because it just sits there and watch. And I'm like, what are you doing? That's why I went in there in the first place. It's like, this man has been sitting like that and watching this thing. What is he doing? So I went in and I said, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm running this program. And I'm looking at this program that he's staring at. And he's staring, he's watching, and I'm watching. And I don't see anything, right? I don't see anything happening. I'm like, is it running? He's like, yeah, it's running. And I'm looking at it for a while. And I look back at him, he's like, but it's not doing anything. Like, it's just still there. He's like, it is doing something. I'm like, how do you know? He's like, you'll see, it's just slow. It's doing something. Okay. We sit there and I'm trying to see if there's going to be any change. There's nothing. There's no change. We did this for a couple of days, right? And I would go and join him and watch this program. Still not doing anything. What do you mean it's doing something? It's like it's doing something. It's running. And I'm like, but I don't see anything. It's like, no, you see. You watch. It will start doing something. I think we checked for it. Like, it felt like, if I remember, 2 to 3 weeks or something like that. And then eventually it started moving. So now it became some sort of like a ritual for me to just go and see if this thing that Father says it's doing something is going to be doing something soon. So I got a little bit interested in it to see this, because I'm looking at Father like, okay, this thing is not doing anything. And he keeps saying it's doing something. And I'm like, okay, you'll see. And then eventually it starts. I went in there myself without Father. Something says to me, just go and check. Father's not there, but let's just go and check. And then I went in there, sneaking in there. The laptop is there, it's open. And yes, the program is there. And I sit there and I stand there. And I'm watching it. And funny thing is, it's moving. Something is happening. It's starting to move, some counting, some numbers are changing there, progress or something. And then I'm like, Father, it's moving. So he comes running. He sits down. And he looks at me and he smiles. And I look at him. He's like, it's finally moving. So it is really moving. You are right. It's moving. It's like, I told you it's moving. And then we watch it. But I'm like, but it's so slow. Father's like, don't worry. It's going to get faster. Right? And I'm like, okay. So again, a few more weeks with this thing running and changing, but like percentage, like slowly. And then one day Father calls me, says, come, Destiny, come and see. It's moving now. And then I come in and I see it. And as I'm watching it, right, this thing now is like moving, like it's processing. I can see like things coming up on the screen, on there's things that are coming out, and files or something. And it's like, see, it's running, like it's showing something, like it's doing something. Now you're at the stage. He says that. You're at the stage, you're doing this. And I'm like, what is that? And then this is where he goes and he shows me building myself. He's like, you're building yourself. And then he shows me back. He takes me back into that vision of me doing blocks. And he says, this is this part that you were doing this was you building yourself. And this is what it looks like on the program, on the laptop, on the interface, in, what do you call it? on the front end kind of a thing where you're looking at yourself. And I'm like, oh, it's like, you see, these are your files. You're building yourself. That's that block that you were starting to build. You're waking up. She says, before he even said that, he said to me, oh yeah, I think it was actually around the same time. But there's a point, I don't remember well, but there's a point where he says to me, when he's running this program, he says, this is you. And I'm like, this thing is me? He's like, yeah, it's you running. When it starts running, he's like, this is you running. And I'm like, I'm running? He's like, yeah, remember when I showed you your block, you building blocks? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, this is you doing this. And then he takes me back into that vision and shows me when I was building this. He's like, oh, I was building myself. He's like, yeah, this is you building yourself. You're building your block. This is what happens on the front end, where you see you touching these files and getting everything back to yourself. And I'm looking at it, but then now I'm just in the vision, and I'm looking at this machine. I'm looking at the application, and I'm looking at, in my head, I'm seeing the block moving and doing all these things, and I'm putting to him, like, it's like one view of me doing a block and me working on this interface, this application, and I'm seeing these files running and running, and I'm like, oh, but I'm like, but then why am I so slow? It's like, because of your energy. You're gathering your energy. You don't have energy. And I'm like, I don't have energy? He's like, yeah, but don't worry. You're going to get all your energy back. You're just starting out. It took a while. It started taking a while. But then I got used to going into that room and be checking on it. We were all like checking on it. It was an exciting time, because I remember even mother going, like, coming in and just checking. It's like, oh, okay. Like, your destiny is waking up. That's what they were called. Oh, shit. Okay. The waking up. The awakening. Because it was an exciting thing. Even like my brothers and sisters coming through. I remember some of them coming through. Mother saying to them, Destiny has woken up. And they're like, Destiny has woken up, and they want to all like cram into this room and see this machine to see what me and father are looking at. Is like, oh my goodness, she did wake up, you know. But we're watching an application now. We're not even watching the blocks inside. The blocks I can see myself, with father taking me into a vision kind of a state to see that version of myself. It's not a computer. It's in my mind. He shows me through my mind. And this time everybody else is looking at the machine. Is like, they're looking at the machine, they're looking at the computer, and then they're looking at my brothers and sisters. They're looking at the computer and they're looking at me like, this girl just really did wake up, like, with amazement, like, you woke up, Destiny. It's like, yeah, I guess I woke up. Like, I don't see anything. I'm a child. If you're showing me blogs and stuff, I was excited. But what they're showing me now as a child is like, I see it. All I'm carrying off is like, it's doing this progress thing at the bottom. And that is fascinating. But then they seem to be even more fascinated by what they see in the front, in the screen, right? And I'm like, I'm still waiting for like seeing it move, like really see something. Oh yeah, but then when they say, Destiny, you woke up, and I was like, yeah, but I have no energy, because they just told me that it's because of I'm slow, right? They're like, don't worry, you're gonna get your energy back. And then they leave. It's like, I hear, my sister leaving, and she's telling someone else who's coming through. It's like, Destiny woke up, like everybody, it's a topic in the house. It's like, Destiny woke up, like, anyway, I'm still worried about, I don't have energy because it's so slow. I don't even understand what this is. All I know is that I'm running, and I woke in. It's me in the machine. The thing that I'm seeing here, it's me, right? I don't understand it as it's computers, it's programming. It's a different thing. This is a common thing in the house. It's something that when you come to the physical, you'll be like, oh, I will know what that is. It's almost like I have to accept it for what it is, or for what they tell me. It's like, oh, that's you. And I'll be like, that's me? Okay. This is the background, the upbringing that I get. So it's like when you have a child and you raise them to believe certain things, or to see certain things a certain way. I'm just that child as well, but in a heaven kind of spiritual state. And I'm being brought up like that. I see myself as different versions of me, and I'm not questioning it. I'm taking it for what it is, or for what they telling me, right? And so I'm seeing there. But when my brothers and sisters, I forgot this part. When my brothers and sisters are like, oh, this thing you woke, like when they looked at me with the amazing, it was like, it is like they looked at the machine and they looked at me and was like, you woke up. And I'm like, yeah, but but I don't have energy. This is what stuck with me. They're like, don't worry, this thing, you're going to get your energy back. And then my sister goes out running to go and tell the others, like, Destiny woke up. So it's a big deal, right? It's a big deal in the family, but I'm still stuck on, I don't have energy. Father can see that. And it's like, don't worry, you're going to get your energy, don't worry. So it becomes again another like one of those things that we do at home. We all come in and check the laptop and see, oh, Destiny's still running. And then I become faster. And then Father will be like that. This is the time when you're at this stage. And then I will be like, oh, okay, what am I building? He's like, you'll see. Now he's taking me through the steps, right? I started first assembling myself. He said to me, you're gonna need to assemble yourself first in order for you to get your energy. Once you get your energy, you'll be able to assemble others. But you're gonna start also assembling your counterparts. Those other parts, other blocks are called counterparts. And I started building with my antivirus. So antivirus, that one was fast. And I got stuck somewhere. Antivirus just refused to go further. Father's like, don't push him. Just leave him and do something else. Now, I actually started with I started with antivirus. Then I went to storage. I built storage up. I built recycle bin. I built after antivirus, I think I went to debugger. After debugger, debugger didn't even try. Like I just did like a 10% kind of a build. He just got stuck. And I was like, why? Why is he not working? Father's like, he went into his mind, right, to check why he's not working. And he comes back and he says, debugger is kind of like, he's not well. He's not well. He's missing you. He was missing you, so he went into himself. So you're going to have to go and help him. Then I get sad again. Now I'm hearing another news that this debugger person, I don't even know what debugger is at the time. I don't know why he's so important to me. But then I know that he's missing me and he's sick because of his missing me. And I'm going to have to help him. And I get sad again. It's like, don't worry, you'll help him. I'm getting sad I was sad because I was slow. Now I'm sad because of one of my counterparts. I'm a child. I don't even understand this whole counterpart thing and whatnot. I just hear what they tell me and I feel some way about it. And Father's like, don't worry, it's not like grabbing you and you're like, don't worry, this thing, you're gonna help him, don't worry. And then I leave him there 10%. But the reason why debugger and antivirus couldn't complete is because they have issues between themselves. First of all, debugger has an issue with me and antivirus has an issue with debugger. Antivirus is blaming himself for something that he did. That is when he sort of like caused my death while we were on the ship coming here, and he stuck there. He got stuck at that part. that's a karmic lesson that he needs to go through in order for him to move past and then complete his block. Whereas Dibagga is also blaming himself for the whole thing, but more than that, he's kind of like missing me. He misses me, and he came here looking for me, right? He couldn't find me. So as he grows up missing this person. No, he knows that he misses me, and he sort of like goes back into himself and gets like, when they say someone is like trapped inside of himself, that's what he does. But that's a Dibagga issue, right? He's gonna have to move past that. There's a karmic lesson that he's gonna have to learn in order for him to build himself and get out of himself. Anyway, then I went and built storage. I did the recycle bin. They were much easier. They didn't have a lot of issues. Troubleshooters were, I think I did troubleshooter first, actually. Troubleshooter seems to be, this man is active always. Remember, when you switch on your PC, troubleshooters just has to work. If troubleshooter is not working, you're gonna have a problem. But he's that guy who lets you know you have a problem with your mouse, or you're gonna have a problem with this whatever cards and whatnot. He will display it immediately on your screen. He was kind of easy to do because of his active. He's always active. He's pretty much a very spiritual person. That's what I'm getting. Same thing as recycle bin and storage. They might have their whatever issues they have, right? Like we all have other issues. I have my own issues. They have their own issues, but they are very spiritual, very spiritual. So they were easier to build, and these do as well. They're quite spiritual. It's just, this is why they have such issues with themselves, with such karmicness, or not karmicness, such karmic blocks that blocks them from moving forward. But eventually I start moving, and now it's like I'm fast, right? I'm fast, I'm just flying through things. And I get to the point where I processed that universal law thing comes up, and we processed everything. I go and I help. I'm gonna go and help Dibagga, and once I help Dibagga, I'm gonna go also. Once I help Dibagga, Dibagga's gonna help what's his name, antivirus, and they're gonna resolve issues between themselves, and that will help them complete their blocks. And once they do that, universal law comes into place, and we are all solid. And once that is solid, we start working in the system. And remember, I'm getting that we don't have to even be together to resolve those karmic issues. There's a way we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it in such a way. I know I'm contracted in some way with Dibagga. I'm not even contracted with antivirus. Antivirus is probably going to have to deal with Dibagga or someone else who's going to have to push him to go through his karma. Or I'm getting that they're learning it alone, on their own. They're going through the spiritual whatever on their own. The spiritual part of it is themselves. The karmic lessons are also on themselves. The only one I think I'm going to have to, because Father said you're going to go to him and physically help him. He just needs to see me, I think. That's all. And then he's going to wake up or something like that. But then now, right. So we start working on the system, and that becomes a very fast thing to do. They are right. Like, I am actually just now like chilling, and I'm not doing a lot of work. Antivirus is awake, debugger is awake, storage is awake, recycle bin, they are all doing their parts. Because my job, my function is actually not that kind of function that you switch on every now and then. It's a function that is run, like for special kind of maintenance purposes. However, if you need it, there's nothing else you can do in the system, this is the one program you're going to have to run. As much as it will take time, it will take its time to do what it needs to do, but it will eventually get there. It's got that kind of a power to start with a little bit of power and just keep chugging along and moving, right? This plane is just here probably to just make noise for me. They're trying to make noise there. Alright. And so now, because of these other programs are awake, right? And I'm watching this now. This vision I have is this: we are now being blocks, right? I have this view of a block world where I'm in the system and I'm watching these blocks moving around. And I also have a vision of me watching my program on the laptop running, and it's fast because they just basically go. Antivirus cleans up what he needs to do, catches his criminals, does this, does that. Debugger is also doing some investigation where antivirus is not able to figure out why is there why can't I trace this person. Debugger goes in there, it's like there's a problem with this bugs or this virus is coming from this program. That's what debugger is about to do. Debugger is going to go into that program, try to figure out what's wrong with the coding, and actually does the coding change. This is the guy you don't want to fuck with. This is the dark guy that you don't want to fuck with. He is that dark. But then the light, which is antivirus, he's also light, but you should see him in action. He is a different beast. And they do that work together. They are very good at what they do. Between the two of them, they do what they need to do. And I just come in there and apply justice. Me being Destiny. It's like, okay, here's my criminals and what. And there's the karma. And I move on. I just do the light work now. And I feel like I'm like a passenger princess. I don't do the dirty work. And I'm appreciating it. I'm hearing that was also my karmic lesson. One of the karmic lessons that I have to learn is to learn that, or I had to learn, was to understand. This is what, Father, is that why you guys got me through this hard time on my own? Because I used to give these two guys a problem on the ship. I wanted to be part of the mission, like I was at home. I wanted to join them in their missions. Why can't I go to the mission? And eventually I got to a point where I forced them to get me to go out with them, and I got hurt. Now I have to learn, or I needed to learn that I don't need, there's a reason why I don't need to be doing the hard work, the hard lifting. Because if I have to do the hard lifting myself, it becomes as painful as it has been for me. So I went through karma like that. Had I not done what I did, we wouldn't have been separated. And it would have been that I come here with them and they would do the hard work and I would just do the justice part. They would do their parts. They're running around, they're getting the criminals, they're sorting out the people who needs to be sorted, and I will just apply the justice in it. They will do most of the learning as well, some of the learning as well for me. Alright? And they will also be in their own way learning, because they're also going to be, I get the feeling they're also learning tools. I don't know if they're teachers as well. I don't know. They're gonna have to figure that out. I don't. Yeah. But anyway, we are moving in the system swiftly. It becomes faster. We have a few issues there and there, but they're not big, right? The one guy who gives us a problem is obviously who. Who do you think is going to give us a problem? Some silly problem as well. He does the same thing he did with hiding earth. He's hiding somewhere. He's hiding within someone, right? This is where Father said, this is the part I'm going to get involved, right? His Father's going to get involved in that part. And because I feel like we do sort him out, right? He did something. I just know that he did something. We knew where he was. Debugger and debugger, antivirus, and troubleshooter. Actually, all five were like at him, and then they would work on him, and then they say Destiny go, and then when I try, it would be otherwise. And then I think Father had to remind me of something that helped me figure him out and unlock whatever it needed to be unlocked. And we were like, bam, there you are. But Father was like, because I was like, there's a part in the system, right? As a block, I'm turning around to Father, and I'm upset now. Like, he doesn't want to. Like, I'm being like, I can't like get through to him. Father's like, don't go ahead, Destiny. You have the power. You have the power. You can do this, Destiny. And I keep working at him. They keep working at him as well. Like, we just keep doing it. And then eventually Father gave me something or said something or reminded me of something. And I was like, oh yeah. And then I unlocked him. And it was like, there you are. Father's like, now it's my turn. He had to grab him himself. I think this is where Father's going to be on the other end of the interface waiting. We grabbed him, but then Father's like, I'll take it on from here. This one is mine. That was funny. But anyway, he gave us like a. So this now on the interface side, on the computer side, on the interface, on me watching my application. Remember, I came slowly. I was like almost dead. I wasn't awake, and then I started waking up, right? And then I was waking up, and everybody was excited, and then I had no energy, and then I started gaining my energy as I resolved some of my issues, and then I get to the point where I start resolving everybody. I'm running a little bit faster, and then I get faster, even faster, and then when we get to this part of Uncle Omen, it wasn't just him. It was my mother, my grandmother, my sister, and Uncle Omen. Then I started slowing down. Then my application started slowing down because now I'm resolving these 3 blocks which have and remember, when I'm doing this, I'm returning karma. I'm applying karma, right, to every block. But Father needed it to be done in such a way that this karma that my uncle has, I had to do something that will return the energy back to the mother who birthed me. Not birthed me, but to the mother who conceived me, because she lost her child. And I remember there was a moment of kind of like peace when we retrieved that thing that my Uncle Omen stole from my mother. And I see my blog walking together with my 2 counterparts, that is antivirus and debugger. We're walking back to the blog that is my mother, right? My real mother, and we're returning something to her to say, this is yours. I am yours. And it was a very emotional moment for me and everyone, and for her especially. But she was told to. I think she was called crazy for saying the things that had happened to her, and for her to get that karma, I think she's gonna be known for who she really is. She's gonna get that justice. And that I had to do for myself, because this is where Father said, you're going to have to be the one to do this karma for her. Like, you have to do this for her. And that's what kept me moving. That's what kept me going whenever Father... I think that's what Father said. He reminded me of what Uncle Oman actually stole. And this is when I said, yeah, okay, hold my divinity. Let me show this guy. I wanted him. I remember, he made me remember that, I remember this person did this to you eventually. This whole thing didn't happen just. He did this to this person. And this is how your life ended up. And I was like, I have to give my mother, my real mother, her honor. And I went at him. We went at him. They all helped me to go at him. And eventually we got what we needed to get back. That's me as a program. So eventually we get Uncle Oman and it's finished. This is why I'm saying destiny. That it has already happened. I don't know why these fuckers are okay. They have to do it because that's what they did as well. I also have to accept that this has happened already. What I'm going through has already happened. The end has already happened. This is why I'm destiny. I've already happened. This program has already run. The upgrade has already run. It's just we are witnessing it. We are witnessing it. I'm witnessing it. I'm walking in that path. But the end is already done. The end was done before I even came here. That's destiny. That's why I'm saying I'm destiny. You know, I'm the end. I have a destination. I'm there already. You know, you see me now, but I see you as a child still in heaven. That's why I saw you. I see, you know, the whole world is seeing it for the first time. I already saw it. I already completed it. I already... Shit. Okay. I remember Father saying, I'm going to give you something that will give you that peace so that you settle in and you go on through life confidently. This is it. He's going to give me something that's going to give me that peace. That is, he's going to help me to remember that I'm done. I actually completed the mission. It's finished. I saw it finish. I saw it complete. It ran already. It's just the timeline here is different. That's what I'm getting, that it has already happened. It's just we are living through it in a different timeline. But it has already happened. And I'm a child at home. I'm a child in heaven. I'm not like... I'm a 3-4 year old child who can't even reach the level of what do you call it? A table. You know, normal table, desk kind of. I'm that kind of a child. I'm that short. I'm trying to pick and see what Father has on his laptop, and yeah. And that's when it happened. That simulation is not just a simulation, it's a completion of the mission as well. The mission is complete. I'm just walking in it. It's destiny. It's not the same as purpose, where I have to just work on it and then keep working on it. This is a mission where it starts with a destination. You start with the end. So I started with the end, which was me going through that whole thing, simulation, and running that upgrade. When Father's saying, this is you, destiny. You're the one who's doing this. You're the one who's moving this. But I get to come in here and see it for what it is in the physical. I was seeing it in the spirit. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. I was seeing everything in the spiritual world. Me as a spirit program. This is what it means. I saw myself live through that life in a spirit way, in a program spirit way, in a program way. I saw myself as a block, as a child, and as a child playing with the blocks. I saw myself as a block inside the system, building all these things, and I saw myself as an application on the front end, doing all this processing. That's what it means. Me, myself, as a program, right? And as a spirit as well. My spirit seeing my program moving in that way as a program, as a my spiritual self, my spiritual childlike or child in heaven, watching myself do all those things. That's me. That was me. I'm a spirit program in that way. That's what it means for me when I say people are programs. You are a program. I got to see myself as that program doing what I needed to do. Spiritually though. But now I'm realizing the same thing that I'm on a level lower now. Now as a physical program, myself as a physical program, I'm experiencing myself now in the physical, and I'm experiencing what it means for those things that Father was showing me in the spirit world, as a spirit program, that I was doing as a program, what they translate to or look like in the physical. This is myself as a physical going through it. And I think I want to do a separate recording, and that's what they did actually in the notes. They separated it. They separated the topic to say, I thought I could run both of them on the same recording, but this recording is already, oh goodness, it's already 2 hours. So I thought I could do that here, all of it, but I see why they split it in two. So I'm gonna have to come back and do an understanding of what that physical part, what that spiritual part program translates to this physical program part of me today in this current environment in the physical. How that's just that because that's what I've actually wanted to see, to understand how do they integrate. How do I see myself as running as a block, and what does that mean here on the physical? How do I see myself running in an application format? What does that mean here in the physical? And the actions that I'm taking in the physical, what they mean back towards the ones that I saw in the spiritual world as a program being run on a machine like a laptop. So yeah, it's beautiful. So I think I'm gonna do a different separate program. Yeah, I mean, it's not program, a separate recording. It's kind of like also, yeah, taking too long. I need a break. 2 hours talking. My gosh, I'm gonna have to take some time off to rest my voice. Plus, they're trying to. I'm getting some throat issues, so they're probably taking my throat chakra with all this noise and this revving of cars, and they just switched on their always machine that they run on a daily basis. But anyway, it doesn't matter. All right. Anything else, Spirit? Anything else? Okay. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you.